Okay.
And the quote that I found was progress. He thought, I'm making progress. And that's when Owen and his boyfriend and
Take him shopping.
were taking him shopping.
That was adorable.
Yeah.
The way is inclusive. Put your shoes on.
So to connect that to what we were talking about, he doesn't feel like he's fitting in, and so like he can't really. I don't know.
Okay, didn't he say that because like he was wearing the same kinds of jeans that everyone else was wearing?
Yeah,
And
Owen bought him jeans that were similar to what everyone else is wearing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just trying to figure out a way to fit in.
I think it also maybe shows something about Henry's character because he he's this amazing shortstop, but like he can't really hit, so he does feel inferior.
He's like an awkward player.
Yeah, he's a
He's
little awkward and
very
shy. I mean,
awkward.
he's really good at that one thing that he does, but then everything else he's a little unsure and doesn't really know his place like for the rest of
Well,
it.
and it's kind of like, I feel like I know people like this, like, their identity is really tied into the one thing that they feel like they're good at, and so, like, in other environments, they're uncomfortable, because, do you guys know people like that are really good at one thing, but then their whole personality is wrapped up in it, so they end up, like, feeling awkward in
Like
it.
me in television shows.
Or even necessarily if you're not very good at it, but you still have that like identity with it because you do that more than everything else.
It's like a
You really
comfort
love it. Yeah.
With his name is
Henry.
Henry. Yeah. He at the beginning of the book he doesn't feel like he is good at what he's doing.
But he really wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't believe that he can go to college for baseball. But then
Yeah, and like even when he got called by the lady who was telling him she wanted to be his agent, it was like saying like his goal was to be senior year picked in like the 49th or 50th round, and she's telling him he can be picked in like this third or even like the second round. So
Well, and it's also, like,
yeah.
Henry has this sort of, like, he just has this sort of, like, he has this personality where it's just, like, he kind of takes what comes, and he's very, like, humble, and he's like, oh, okay, like, somebody's calling me about the draft. Wait, third round? Like, that's pretty good, right? You know, he's just kind of, he's sort of...
And like the moment was like, you know, how much like do you think they'll get? And it's like, oh, 80,000.
She's like,
and
you
then,
forgot the 3.
And underneath
Yeah.
he's all like, oh yeah, I mean, I felt really uncomfortable, you know, giving such a large amount of money in reference to myself, but actually it's $300,000 more than that. Holy crap! Like he's
He's sort of coming to the realization that he's always had this dream that he wants to be a great fielder, and he's sort of realizing that he's reaching that dream, and it's kind of like this weird decision. He's like, oh, like, I'm really good.
yeah.
All right. Does anyone else have a quote?
One of the quotes I highlighted was, they travel in large packs, constantly texting the other packs, and when 2 packs converge, there was always a tremendous amount of hugging and kissing on the cheek. It made me laugh. And also, I read it, and then got a couple pages later, and then I just stop and go back, because that was like the first time I realized, oh my god, it's not set in the 50s. They're texting each other? Oh.
Yeah, this
wow.
is modern, right?
Like, it is modern, but you don't really get that
There's a
impression.
timelessness to
yeah, this
it.
book was written in like
2011. But I thought it was like set like lots of years ago,
Yeah,
because
I thought it was set in the 60s.
yeah, something like that.
60s
And I
is
was
what I
like,
thought.
and then I was like,
Well,
and I
yeah,
read it, and then I got a
figured it
couple
out,
pages later, and then I was like,
but-
wait, did that say texting? And had to go back.
You know, when I figured it out is when he is checking into Westish College and somebody says a girl tip-tapping on her iPhone. That was when I figured it out. Before then, I thought it was like the 60s.
I kind of assumed it was modern, but it kind of felt like it was before that. And then, like, I got to the bit where it's talking about the president, and he's like in the 60s, and he's a kid, and then all of a sudden he's like 60 years old, and he's the president of this college. So
I mean, and I didn't even absorb, like, I got past, you know, oh, and they bought him a new computer and stuff. It didn't even really register to me, because I was like, oh, yeah, you got a new computer in the 60s. That makes sense, right? But,
Well, and he's an out gay man in the 60s. That makes sense.
yeah, but, like, it just, and I was like, wow, he's very flippant about being gay. That's pretty awesome for the times. And, like, and I was about to write down, like, about the mom, and she was like, oh, he's he's gay and like really uncomfortable with that. And I was like, yeah, it sucks, but you know, it's a product of the times. Oh no, wait, that's now that wench.
The note literally says
I'm reading-
that wench.
I'm reading this book, and it's the most depressing book I've ever read. It's about this girl, and it's like set in the early 90s, but she lives in Montana. And
That's
she's
a bad place to be.
she's lesbian, and like she like hooks up with girls and all this stuff, and then like she gets found out by like her super conservative aunt and all this stuff, and she gets sent to this like correctional school
To like fix her
where
lesbianness.
to like fix her
Correctional
lesbianness.
school's not good.
It's so oh my
It's
god,
so
it makes me
bad.
sad.
Well, and it's also
so bad.
like when it said oh, he's gay and like that registered with his parents, like I think that we forget because we live in California that like in
The world is for
Nebraska.
homophobic, ignorant morons.
Well, didn't it say he lives in San Jose?
No, that's Owen, but his Henry is from
Henry's
South Dakota.
Henry's
From
parents are
South
like,
Dakota.
we
Like
heard that
him."
you're gay and your roommate is gay, and we're not comfortable with that. So can you get switched?
Yeah, so like, don't wear clothes that he buys you.
He's like, well, I'm already wearing them. Awkward.
And I like that. It was like, you know, I understand my parents, you know, can take back the money and not let me go to college, but they can't see what I'm wearing.
Oh yeah, I marked that. It says, hang on. The exact quote is no, it's for this. Wait. No, go. Hang on.
I have it right here.
Oh yeah, they could make him come home. They could refuse to pay the portion of his tuition they had agreed to pay. They couldn't see his jeans.
Yeah.
And I kind of
like,
enjoyed
that's
that.
awesome.
Well, and it's also just like, it's kind of that like realization like, oh, my parents are 500 miles away. They don't control my life anymore.
The next scene is awesome when you're reading the book and he's like, oh, it's nearly midnight, and he has his ear pressed to the door and the noise is coming
It
from
sounds
under
like
his sweater.
sex and it's Schwartz
It was
lifting
like,
weights.
he's like, come on, baby, come on. That's it, baby, all night long. And I was reading and was like, is he listening to people have sex? And then read, welcome to the weight room. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, Henry, you're such a creeper. You're listening to people have sex. Oh, wait.
I was like, is it Owen and his boyfriend?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I was reading in the car and I was like, so, wait, what? What is going on here?
Like, there's even the you're big, you're fucking huge. I'm like, what other context are we supposed to think? Like,
Well, they so wanted you to think that was sex.
and
Well,
it was
yes.
really
It was the
hilarious to
start
me.
of a chapter.
It was hilarious to me, and I got to the end, and it was like, welcome to the weight room. And I was like, oh, and I had to reread it. And no, even though I know it's a weight room, you still reread it and think that is not how you lift weights.
Well, maybe that's how some people lift weights. Don't judge them, Hayden.
I'm not going to judge them, I'm going to laugh at them.
Have you
hilarious.
guys gotten to
Part where the teacher's in love with Owen? Yes.
That was one of my quotes.
That's a little bit creepy.
I'm not as creeped out by it as you guys.
He's like 40 years older than him.
I'm not as creeped out as it about it.
Well, you shipped Mycroft Lestrade, and they've never met each other.
They have definitely met each other because they have.
Wait, we're getting this on film.
That's a bad idea. I have weird ships. We've accepted that. It doesn't weird me out that much.
Well, and it's so creepy too because the only connection he has with Owen is that Owen runs an environmental group that's been meeting with him to talk about like
But
lowering CO2 emissions.
not true though, because the group had been meeting with him, and then Owen talked to him later.
Privately,
and then
I know.
And then they've talked a bunch together privately, and the teacher
Is on the wrong end of a crush was his words.
I kind of saw that coming when he was like talking about Owen, and then he got to the end, and my immediate reaction was, "Aww."
My immediate reaction was,
Yeah, mine is a little more like Casey's. And what's your quote?
Had Owen caught him staring at no one meant, and I immediately, as soon as we started talking about after flight,
At the end of chapter 8, you kind of realized.
when he was looking at him in the dugout and he was like,
being a
It's the
creeper.
moment when he was like,
you knew that this
Well, and when he kept mentioning,
The
as soon as that chapter starts, as soon as he mentions, oh, you know.
well, yeah, and then you get
Oh,
to the
yeah.
end, and it's like, there came from the corner of the dugout a muffled but nonetheless sickening crunch followed by a thud, and then it's just
I knew
Owen.
that was Owen.
It was Owen, period, and you're like, oh, he's totally in love with Owen. Or at least I was, but
I figured that out before when he said, oh.
Well, you kind of got that, but then you're like, well, I think it's Owen, but it might not be, but I think it probably is, and then you know, and you're like, oh yeah, he's definitely.
So I have a question. So, do you think that Owen actually knows that
Athenline has a creep crush on him.
I'm
Do you think he
not
does?
sure.
Well, he is like a very perceptive person, and he's really smart. But you do like he probably.
I don't, you can't really tell yet because this is just the introduction, and you just get that idea, and you can't quite tell if it's like mutual or not.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten to the part where Owen is talking about that yet.
Yeah.
So,
I
I'm doing a great job.
I think that Owen, even if he's not aware, like, in a concrete way, he's probably aware in some sort of, like, almost unconscious way that, like, this guy pays a lot of attention to him. He just might not be registering, like, this man has a creeper crush on me.
Stop calling it a creeper crush.
What it is.
No,
It's
not.
it's a little bit what it is.
I'm not. Stop calling it that.
I feel like we should talk about Athenline and Owen just as characters, too, because I think they're really
and his
interesting.
daughter.
And his daughter.
Who's
Yeah.
kind of irritating, but
She pisses me off.
I don't really care
What are
as
you?
much as
Putting
you
it
do
that way.
that she dropped out of college to run
To
off
marry a man who's 20 years her senior?
No, he's only 12 years her senior. That is perfectly fine.
That one that's not a big age difference at all.
My parents are 10 years apart, but...
Yeah, so it's not even that big of a deal. My parents are like 8 years apart. Although my grandpa is like 25 years older than my grandma.
It's pretty
My
funny.
parents are 4 months apart.
That's great. Anyways, moving on.
Marissa, how long's the age difference
Yeah, what's the
between
age
your
difference
parents?
between your parents? Just to round this conversation out.
My parents or my grandparents?
Your parents.
I think my parents are 3 years.
Oh, that's pretty good.
pretty average.
That one didn't bother me. What bothered me was more that he was an asshole rather than the fact that she ran off with him. Because, like, if you ran off with him and they were totally in love and they lived happily ever after, then whatever, you don't need college. You don't need this Western idea of this education that guarantees you a job that actually doesn't. You know, if you're happy, whatever. Except for he was a dick.
A jerk, yeah. When you could see her, and then when she was, like, depressed and he didn't care. I marked that quote, but I don't have my book with me. He's like, that made her more dependent on him, so he didn't want her to get
Yeah,
better.
it's like his greatest fear was that she would run away with someone her own age.
Yeah.
Hang on,
That she
I'm
would
gonna
live-
stop recording and start again.